Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. My name is Dr. Nitin Chora, and I'll give you the latest news pertaining to the country, the economy, as well as our money. Job growth in the United States has actually topped forecasts with the biggest gain in nearly a year. This has led the stock market to all-time highs, and President Biden is wasting no time in taking credit for this. Here's a headline of an article on your screen from Bloomberg. US job growth tops forecast with biggest gain in nearly a year. Payrolls actually rose 943,000 in July after the upwardly revised June gain. The number of long-term unemployed falls by the most on record. Folks, this is good news. This means that those who are long-term unemployed, who've been out of a job for 6 months or more, are now starting to get back into the workforce. Welcome to our channel. Please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. I'm going to connect the dots and help you understand what this means to you. The US labor market charged ahead in the month of July, and we had the biggest increase in employment in nearly a year. This means things are starting to get better. Now, this is a big step towards the Federal Reserve's goal of, I quote, substantial further progress in the job market. And now I think interest rates will start to go back up, which means it could become more expensive for you to pay your credit card bill because of interest. It could cost more to get a car loan, to get a mortgage, because the economy is finally starting to get back on track. Now, there is a flip side to this. Payrolls remain 5.7 million short of pre-pandemic levels, and the Delta variant is indeed causing some concerns. Here's a quote from Jeffrey Rosenberg, who's a senior portfolio manager at BlackRock. He said this is a very strong report across all metrics. There's very little that you could point to here that's disappointing. The problem here, folks, is 5.7 million individuals have essentially either dropped out of the workforce or have not gotten their jobs back. So there are less people working today than there were prior to the pandemic. Here's a quote from Wells Fargo economists Sarah House and Shannon Sherry. They said this: while there were some indications that labor constraints continue to ease, the rise in the Delta variant clouds the outlook. Fed officials will likely be pleased with July's progress, but we ultimately think that they will want to see further ground recovered. Folks, a lot more needs to be done. And folks, this is good news as far as the Federal Reserve is concerned, but we still have a long way to go. Now, let's take a look at the sector breakdown of U.S. employment gains. This is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. You can see that leisure and hospitality, people started to get their jobs back. Local government education, 220,000 jobs gained. Professional and business services jobs gained. Transportation and warehousing, healthcare and social assistance, manufacturing. This is all good news across the board. Now, those who are classified as long-term unemployed, in other words, those who've been unemployed for 27 weeks or more, declined by 560,000 in July. This is phenomenal. More than 500,000 of our fellow Americans who were long-term unemployed are now back into the workforce. Now, does this mean that President Biden's efforts to approve $2 trillion in pandemic relief through the American Rescue Plan and widely distribute vaccines are working? I would venture to say yes. Now, here's the problem though. As the economy is recovering politically, this will give a lot of ammunition to the Republicans and to the conservatives to say, hey, we don't need to spend more money. It's irresponsible to spend more money. Why are we spending more money and pouring more fuel into an economy that's already running hot? And folks, there is an argument to be made for that kind of reasoning. Perhaps we are finally getting back on track. But folks, the biggest problem remains, and it will always be a perpetual problem. How do we help those among us who need help the most? And that is going to be the challenging issue. In the meantime, Amazon and McDonald's, some of the big employers, have been increasing wages and offering sign-on bonuses to try and get workers to come back. Average hourly earnings actually increased by 0.4% in July for a second month, according to the recent report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So what is the bottom line? Employment population ratio jumped to 58.4% in July from 58%. More people are working. The unemployment rate for white Americans fell to 4.8%, while the rates for black Americans dropped to 8.2% and Hispanic Americans declined to 6.6%. Average weekly hours held steady at 34.8. The participation rate for women age 25 to 54, the group most likely to have children, rose to 75.5%. The rate among men in that group climbed to 88.3%. This means that more individuals, both men and women of childbearing age, are now back into the workforce, which, if you recall, has always been the biggest problem in this pandemic. People having to stay home because of homeschooling their kids, because of childcare reasons, because of issues pertaining to remote learning, because a lot of schools were not open. In my own household, my wife and I, we have a 6-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter, and we've been hesitant to send our kids back to daycare. But now we're starting to feel more and more confident. But you know what? With the Delta variant, we might just have them stay home with us. This is the challenge for a lot of parents when it comes to working, when it comes to trying to work from home. Not all of us have the ability and the flexibility to be able to work from home. In the meantime, President Biden said that the surge in hiring shows that his economic plan is working. Here's a headline of an article on your screen from Bloomberg. The president spoke at the White House after this promising jobs report, and he said that his economic plan is working. The president said this, I quote, "The Biden plan is working. The Biden plan is producing results, and the Biden plan is moving the country forward," because the president, rightly so, is trying to take credit for a lot of the progress that is taking place in the economy. The president has argued that the economic success of his early months, the American Rescue Plan, was facilitated by his administration's vaccination effort and the American Rescue Plan itself, the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. And the president said this, "We put in place the necessary tools early in my presidency to fight the virus and fight the economic mess we inherited." In fact, let's roll the tape and hear from President Biden as he celebrates his own economic success. Let's watch.
We learned that the economy created 943,000 new jobs in July. 943,000. The unemployment rate fell by 0.5% to 5.4%. Now, while our economy is far from complete, and while we doubtlessly will have ups and downs along the way as we continue to battle the Delta surge of COVID, what is indisputable now is this. The Biden plan is working, the Biden plan produces results, and the Biden plan is moving the country forward. We're now the first administration in history to add jobs every single month in our first 6 months in office, and the only one in history to add more than 4 million jobs during the first 6 months. Economic growth is the fastest in 40 years.
Now, on the other hand, there are Republican detractors. They've argued that the federal spending is driving up inflation and that trillions more is unnecessary considering this economic growth that we are seeing. Here's a quote from Senator Marsha Blackburn, who's a Republican from Tennessee. She tweeted this, "Tennesseans are paying more at the gas pump and grocery store. Meanwhile, Biden and the Democrats want to pass a reckless multi-trillion-dollar tax and spending plan." So you can see that the Republicans are going to continue to hammer the Democrats. Finally, House Speaker Pelosi said this in a recent statement. "We must sustain this growth and ensure that all can share in its benefits by passing transformative infrastructure and reconciliation bills that truly meet families' needs. At the same time, Democrats will continue to fight for families struggling as the Delta variant accelerates." Please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. I hope you learned something new from this video. My name is Dr. Nitin Choda with Ignition Time. Let me know what you think of the recent jobs report and the president taking credit for this jobs report. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also follow me on Twitter. This right here is my Twitter feed. Our Twitter handle is ignition_time. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. Please click subscribe. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.